Alex, I walked into the shop this morning and the smell of sawdust mixed with cold coffee hit me. And for a second, I felt like I actually knew what I was doing. Then I tripped over a cord I swore I'd coiled up last night, balance restored.
The universe has a way of keeping your ego in check. If you aren't tripping over your own feet, you're probably about to glue your fingers together. Welcome back to the TigerDen Daily, everyone. It is Thursday, June 18th. Tiger, you've been buried in tech specs all morning. What's the buzz?
Man, the world is moving fast. We're looking at a massive shift in how we build things, from the tiny parts on your desk to the massive data centers that run the world. It's a good day to be someone who likes getting their hands dirty, whether that's in grease or high-temp polymers.
Let's start with the small stuff, or at least the high-performance small stuff. I saw Peak on the docket today. Sounds like something a toddler does behind a curtain, but I'm guessing it's a bit more industrial than that.
A little bit, yeah. Peak, polyether ether ketone, is the stuff of dreams if you're tired of plastic parts snapping when they get a little warm. We're talking about a material that can take a beating from chemicals and heat that would turn a standard PLA bracket into a puddle of goo. All 3DP Pro just put out a guide on it. And for folks in the trades, this is a game changer. Imagine printing a custom valve or a bracket for a chemical line that actually holds up.
Okay, but isn't that stuff notoriously temperamental to print? Like, you have to keep the chamber hot enough to bake a pizza?
Exactly. You can't just throw this on a hobby machine and hope for the best. It's finicky. It's like trying to teach a cat to heel. It requires a very specific environment and a lot of patience. But the payoff, you're basically printing metal-adjacent parts.
Speaking of hobby machines versus workhorses, I see Bamboo Lab is finally having a sale. That feels like a blue moon event.
It really is. They've got their P2S and that nozzle swapping H2C on discount until mid-July. I've spent more time than I'd like to admit fumbling with wrenches trying to swap a clogged nozzle while the heat block is burning my knuckles. The H2C makes that a memory. It's about time they gave the DIY crowd a break on the price tag.
And then there's the R3 printing guy. $30,000 for a printer? Tiger, I could buy a very nice used truck for that. Why am I buying a liquid-cooled box instead?
Because it's the get-out-of-jail-free card for makers. Look, $29 just do out. $9 5K is a steep hill to climb, but R3 is aiming at the person who is tired of being tethered to a corporate cloud. You buy this, you own it. No subscription for your nozzle nonsense. It's liquid-cooled, open material, and it's made right here in the States. If you're running a production house and you can't afford for a server in Silicon Valley to go down and brick your factory, that's where that money is going. It's peace of mind in a heavy-duty chassis.
I get the cloud optional appeal. Nobody likes their tools asking for a password before they'll turn a screw. But let's pivot. You mentioned something earlier about tech giants actually caring about people who wear work boots.
This is the highlight of the week for me. Meta and Google are pouring money into the trades. We're talking $115 million from Meta for a workforce academy and another $50 million from Google.
Wait, why? I thought they wanted everything to be AI and virtual reality. Why do they care about HVAC techs and electricians?
Because AI lives in a physical house, Alex. A very big, very hot house called a data center. You can have the smartest code in the world, but if the cooling system fails or the power grid fluctuates, it's all just a very expensive paperweight. They've realized there's a massive shortage of people who actually know how to wire a three-phase transformer or balance an industrial chiller.
So they're effectively subsidizing the training to ensure their own survival?
It's smart business. They're offering free training and industry credentials. If I were 20 years younger and looking for a path that didn't involve a mountain of student debt, I'd be sprinting toward these academies. You get the training, and then you're basically fast-tracked into a high-paying role on their infrastructure projects. It's a career ladder with a rocket ship tied to it.
It's a nice change of pace to see tech and trades in the same sentence without it being about a robot replacing a plumber.
Exactly. A robot still can't crawl through a cramped crawl space and tell you why the condensation pump is making that weird clicking noise. That's a human skill, and it's finally being valued like one.
All right, let's talk about the maker moguls. You've been looking at the 2026 data for where people are actually spending their money. Is Facebook still a graveyard for everyone under 60, or is there life in the old dog yet?
Everyone loves to dunk on Facebook, but the numbers don't lie. 86% of marketers are still there because that's where the communities are. For a maker selling, say, custom-forged chef knives or hand-turned bowls, those niche Facebook groups are gold mines. It's where people who actually care about the craft congregate.
What about the visuals? I feel like if I see one more perfectly curated photo of a finished table on Instagram, I'm going to roll my eyes into the back of my head. It feels fake.
And the audience agrees with you. That's the big takeaway for 2026. Process videos, the messy, loud, here's how I actually messed this up and fixed it content, has a 40% higher engagement rate than those glossy finished shots. People want to see the sparks. They want to hear the planner scream. They want to see the sweat. It builds a bridge of trust that a filtered photo just can't touch.
So, the how it's made vibe is the winner. Note to self: film Tiger more when he's frustrated with a dovetail joint.
Hey, those swear words are copyrighted. But seriously, LinkedIn is the other sleeper hit. If you're doing B2B work, custom boardroom tables, office installs, LinkedIn is where those checks are signed. Instagram is your gallery, but LinkedIn is your boardroom.
Let's get into the stuff we can do this weekend. DIY mastery time. I saw your notes on concrete sealers. You sounded unusually passionate about foam rollers.
It's because I've lived the nightmare, Alex. I once spent 3 weeks casting a concrete countertop. It was perfect, smooth as glass. Then I went to the big box store, bought the cheapest foam roller I could find, and rolled the sealer on.
Let me guess, it looked like a topographic map of the moon?
Worse, it left these tiny microscopic bubbles that dried into a permanent orange peel texture. I had to sand the whole thing back down and start over. The lesson: the density of your roller determines the finish. Use a high-density foam roller for sealers. A $2 tool can absolutely trash a $500 slab of concrete. It's the kind of mistake that makes you want to walk into the woods and never come back.
I can see the headline: Local craftsman defeated by sponge on a stick. What about the roofing tip? I know a lot of our listeners are eyeing those backyard shed builds now that the weather is holding up.
Reclaimed metal roofing is a great look. It gives a building instant soul. But, and this is a big but, you have to be a stickler for the overlap. I've seen guys try to stretch their material by only overlapping one rib on the corrugated metal. Then a sideways rain comes in, capillary action takes over, and suddenly your lawnmower is taking a bath inside your shed.
So don't be cheap with the overlap.
Never. And watch your fastener placement. You want those screws on the high ribs, not the valleys where the water flows. It sounds like common sense until you're 10 feet up on a ladder in the sun and your brain starts to bake. Take your time. A dry shed is a happy shed.
You also mentioned watching I thought this was a good idea videos on YouTube. Isn't that just a recipe for procrastination?
Maybe a little. But honestly, watching someone else's shop disaster is the cheapest education you'll ever get. I saw a video last night of a guy trying to move a massive timber frame without a spreader bar. I could see the physics failing before he even lifted it. Watching that probably saved me from doing something equally boneheaded next month. It's about building a mental library of what wrong looks like.
I think that's a perfect place to wrap it up. We've covered everything from high-tech liquid-cooled printers to the humble foam roller. What's the one thing people should take into their shops this weekend, Tiger?
I think it's this. Don't be afraid of the high-tech stuff, and don't look down on the low-tech trades. Whether you're learning to print PEEK for a NASA-grade component or you're apprenticing as an electrician for a metadata center, you're still a builder. The tools change from a chisel to a laser to a 3D printer head, but the heartbeat of the craft is the same. It's about solving problems with your hands and your head. Oh, and for the love of all that is holy, buy the expensive foam roller.
Spoken like a man who has sanded far too much concrete in his life.
You have no idea.
Thanks for joining us in the Tiger Den. Go build something great, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.